Very good. Well, good morning and welcome to a Thursday morning coffee chat. We haven't done one of these in quite a while. I'm Marcia Connett. I'm the Southeast Regional Consultant, and so glad that you're with us this morning because we have a special guest with us, Ann Beeson. And as she said to me, she needs no introduction. Most of you know Ann from all the work that she's done with us in her work at New Readers Press and then other entities that she's been doing this for 9 years, she tells me.
Yeah.
So that's pretty amazing in and of itself. So before I turn it over to Ann, we're going to do a couple of little housekeeping things. We are recording today's session. So if you have tutors or staff members who couldn't be on today, but who want to be able to use News for You, this will be up on our webinar site, and they'll be able to access it and see everything that we talked about. Also, at the very end today, you'll be receiving an evaluation form. And those are really important to us. And it only takes a couple of seconds, literally, to fill it out. So please do that. It also gives you an opportunity to talk about something else that you might want us to focus on. So, and then the last thing is, you should have gotten a notice that in December, we are doing a 3-part series of Thursday morning coffees. You can pick and choose. You can do one, you can do all 3, and it's called How'd They Do That? If you were in our fall conference, you may have attended virtual learning for the lower level learner, and ILP featured a whole bunch of really cool things that they do with videos and online quizzes, and they are going to teach us, no matter what your skill level is, how to do all those things. So by all means, feel free to sign up for any of those, and we'll see you then. So now, without further ado, Ann Beeson.
Hey everyone. I hate it when I can't see or hear people, but hopefully I can see names, so I know you're all here. But anyway, listen, we're going to go through News for You online. Most of you have access to the program through Wisconsin Literacy. Way to go. We have this great it's a multiple site license. So it allows to pull a bunch of people or locations together into one license. And since it's been quite some time since I've done sort of a run through on News for You, I'd like to be able to go through it again so that everybody kind of knows the features. So here's kind of how we're going to function for now. Well, first of all, I should give you the heads up. I actually just did this like a day ago or 2 days ago, and it didn't take more than 30 minutes. So what we're going to do is just go ahead and run through, and I'll show you all the different features. If you have questions, go ahead and type them up in the chat. And Cassie is kind of managing the chat. I'll stop, occasionally, but then for sure what we'll probably do at the end is maybe open up everyone's mic. So if people have particular questions, then I can dive around into the program. So let me go ahead and get started by sharing the screen so we see what we're talking about. Here we go. And you should be able to see the News for You screen. I think we just tried it. Someone's going to turn on their mic and holler if you're not seeing it, okay? Otherwise, I'm just going to keep going. But here we are. This is a News for You online. And for most of you that have actually been using the paper version of the program in the past, it really is the same program, but with some really excellent additional features. So I want to just kind of touch through on all of these things. There is usually right here a white spot here where you type in your password. If you're part of the Wisconsin Literacy multiple site license, then you already have that password. If you don't, just contact your consultant and they can forward it to you. And just a heads up on the password. The password you've received, you should and can share that password with everyone associated with your agency. That means every teacher, every tutor, every student. Everybody has access to the program. It functions on a browser. So there's no special app to run this. You just open up a browser and go to the website, the newreaderspress.com. And then as you can see, this is really the main program, but it's over here on the right-hand side, News for You and News for You Online Home. That's where you can get to it. Also, if you're using the same device that you've logged in on to use News for You, when you go back to it, it should retain the password. So you'll go right back into the program, which is really a nice feature. So you don't have to constantly remember that password. It'll remember it for you. So let's just kind of go ahead. I want to get the top part out of the way so we can just see the main part of the program. It always tells you how long we've got on the subscription. And I monitor that with Marcia and the other consultants. So we're good. You don't have to worry about that. When you start to scroll down, you're going to start out and see an article, the first article. Now, what I'm showing you right now is actually slightly unusual because this particular article that popped up was released free to everybody. So as a result, it's not incorporated into the teacher guide. We'll take a peek at that a little bit later on. So just so you know, if you're looking for that information, it won't be there for this one, but everyone else there will. So let's just take a look and see what happens. Every article has a photo or a picture that starts it out. It kind of it gives you a subject area. So this is obviously a national article. The title is right here. And for every article that comes up, you click on read and listen to the full story to actually access the article. So here we go. I'm scrolling down and you can actually see the article begins right around here. There's a couple features I want you to be able to see, and that is every time you see this icon, that means you can actually listen to the reading of whatever it is. So in this case, and we actually didn't test this, so hopefully it works through Zoom. But if I'm going to click on this button right now, it should read the caption underneath the picture.
Democrat Joseph Biden has won the election to become the 46th president of the U.S.
Okay, I'm not sure if you guys all heard that, but it reads at not at a fairly slow pace, so everybody can follow it. The other thing that I want you to be able to see is you can actually change the text size for your reading purposes. So if you hit the plus button here, as you can see, and I'll do it again, and it gets it nice and big if you need bigger letters to read. So you can always do that at any given time. And then you can either listen to the entire article read to you and read along, or you can just click on a sentence like this one, and it'll read just that sentence for you.
Voters have chosen Joseph Biden as the 46th U.S. president.
Okay, and then as I go down into the article, any word that is blue, if I hover over it, it's going to describe what kind of word it is and give you a definition. And the blue words are all part of this week's vocabulary that the students will be learning, okay? You know, obviously some of them will already know them and some they'll be kind of new. And then as you go through here, anything that is orange and you click on it, it'll actually go into the archive and pull additional articles about that particular topic. I'm going to get into the archive later. It's like my favorite feature of this whole program. But just so you know, that's where it'll take you, and it'll open up a new tab for you. And then we go all the way down to the end, and you can see there's some additional things. There's some other articles associated with this. So questions on whether or not someone, you know, what's happened with this election, and some other information as well. The other part that I think is pretty neat is your students can actually get published in News for You. So this is what's pretty cool about this. The students can actually go in and do, as a writing activity, respond to the articles that they just read. Now, just so you know, if somebody goes a little bit maybe inappropriate or you know, inflammatory. There is an editor that's always looking at this information and does, you know, delete things that are, you know, not appropriate, just so you know. But it's a great way to sort of get published, which is a great thing, you know. So I'm going to scroll down. These are just some comments that some students have posted. But I have to go down here because a lot of people have responded on this, because I want you to see where you can leave a comment. So here's where you type in your name, and here's where you type in whatever your comments are. So you can actually practice someplace else and then cut and paste it in there, or just practice in the live area. And then when you're done, click post the comment. All right. So it's kind of a fun thing to do, and you can do that on every single article that's there. All right, let's see. So on the right-hand side are article exercises. So I'm going to click on this, and there's actually one that is article exercises for this article and for each article as you work through it. And these are online. Just so everyone understands, this is a very simple software program. It does not have a learning management system. In other words, you don't have to log students into the program as students and create classes and all of that. It is just a simple software program. There has been discussion in the past about possibly creating a learning management system. I'm just not too excited about it, because what it's going to do is cause this product to cost a lot more money. So I love the simplicity of this program, and that anybody can pretty much use it. So if you're going to have your students go through and do this exercise, you should actually just, you know, on a sheet of paper or someplace, log down exercise, you know, 1 through 10, and then write down whether or not you got the questions correct or not correct. So for this, choose the correct number. You have to you get to select one, so you get to play with drop-down menus, which is good. Oh, I love that I got that right. Next, and then we have true and false. And then we can just go on, and this is where you put the sentence in order. Now, I'm in a particular place where I want to identify a particular issue, and it has to do with using this product on various devices. If you're a student or anyone who's using the program and they're using a touchpad, in other words, they're using maybe an iPad or they're doing it on the phone, there's a couple features that do not work on where you're not typing, but you're in fact using your finger to drag things around. This is one of those items. So it works perfectly if you're using a mouse. So can do it here, but the programmers cannot get it to work on a touchpad. So, and that includes the smartphone. So an activity like this, you wouldn't be able to do it on a smartphone. And then there's one other issue having to do with the word search, and I'll show that when we get there. So anyway, you can put these all in order. I'm just going like this and guessing. And then if I decide that's not quite right, I'm going to reset it. And you can reset each one of these, and you can reset it at the beginning. So there's that. So what I'm going to do is go back to the article right now. Oh, good Lord, I shouldn't have looked out the window. It's just pouring snow. Sorry. Okay, so we're back to the articles. And then if your students for some reason want to download the full audio for the article, they can click on it right here and then save the link as, or save it as a target so they can get at it. And then the other thing that's kind of interesting is every week when these articles come out, I'm sorry, I meant to tell you that. Every week on Wednesday at 12:01 a.m., the new articles come out and they're published online. So, so as of Wednesday morning, you're going to have new articles that you had from the day before. And and when that happens, there's always a new weekly poll. And I really kind of like this sort of feature. It's so simple. Just asking a simple question, asking you to vote. And when you do, it's going to give you your results. So I'm going to say, why not? Yes, I'm interested in the Supreme Court and news about it. So I'll click vote. And so far, just, in a couple days, there have been a number of people that have already voted. And we can see that. And then if we wanted to see what happened last week, like I wanted to see what was the total, you know, like as of last week, I can click on that link and it'll give me the results from last week. So weekly poll is always fun. I'm going to go to the fun. Well, let's just go down the road because I think that makes most sense. There is a crossword puzzle, just like the paper version. It takes just a little bit getting used to, but it's not bad at all. So I'm going to click this and a new tab is going to open up and you can see it listed over here. And this is very hilarious. The last time I was playing around with this, it was a different crossword puzzle. So I'm looking down here for one of the things we can do. All right, so a group of students is classes, I'm going to say, and I have no idea if that's right, so let's find out. Guess what? I got it right. So if I wanted to work on something else, and I'm going to say, I think that is calm, but I'm not sure exactly. I click on the one that I want to answer. I'm not sure, all I have to do is click on that, and then I just have to type from the beginning. Even though the C is there, you have to type in the C. I'm gonna spell calm incorrectly, okay? Now, I think that's right, but I'm not sure. So all I have to do is check, and the red X's fill in for me. So if I start again and spell it correctly, the X's go away, I can check, and then it tells me there's no red X's, so I'm good to go. If I wanted to do title for a man and I wanted to type this up, this is probably a wrong one to guess. Let's do a big one. Like 15 down is a strong smell. I have no idea what that is, okay? So I want a hint. It's gonna give me the first letter. So that's always actually fun. Now, if you did hint again, it's not going to give you another letter, just so you know. Okay, so this will actually just give you a lot of fun to play around with because it really is great to work with the vocabulary that the students are using this week. So I'm going to close this. We'll go back to the art, down to the information. If you want last week's crossword answers, there you can always click on them, get them here. Word search. This is what I talked about just a second ago. This is the one that does not work if you're using a touchpad. So if I was sharing it on my laptop right now, and I was using the touch screen on my laptop, I wouldn't be able to answer that way, but I can use it with my mouse. So I see a couple of words here, bravery, and I can see it up here. It's not super clear. I'm not sure that it's coming through super clear, but once you have identified a word that's in the list, it goes a little gray. So you know you've taken care of that one. Here's one, honored. And then here's one that I know is a word, it's Rome, but it's not on the list. So if I want to check to find out, if I click on it, that disappears because it's not one of this week's words that we're doing in the word search. Okay, so this is pretty simple to use. And then here's the important part, this week's teacher guide. So you click on this and this will open up again in another tab. And these are everything that you needed to know. Now, this is the heads up I was telling you on this particular teacher guide. This one actually does not include the very first article. It's, and it had to do with the publishing part and when the information was being released to, so that it could be rewritten for the lower reading levels. So you can see here that there's all kinds of lesson plans for you and activities. You certainly, you know, teachers are so creative and tutors are so creative. You can always come up with stuff, but I love going to teacher guides to just get me in line with some basic things I should be doing with this particular lesson. And also it gives me a good jumping point onto stuff that I might know particularly that may not be in the lesson plan. But we do try and include, you know, if there's college and career readiness standards that are aligned to what we're doing, we usually list them up here. And then in addition to that, we also have a printable handout, which is not very helpful right now since we're not really meeting in person. but it's available for the students so they can complete it on their own. And then, and if they want to use it on a document or something on paper they want to write up, and then when you meet with them, you can go through that. All of these can also be done orally in many cases. How do you want to answer the questions as a group or one-on-one? So that's really helpful. I'm going to go ahead and close that tab so we go back to the article. And then here's how to use News for You online. I'm going to open this up really quickly, but I'm also going to stop it. I'm actually going to start it so you can see how long this is. If you need a quick reminder on how this all works, if you click on this one is, I'm going to stop it. It's only it's just shy of 7 minutes long. So if you want a nice, visual to run through on how this all works, you can just click on that. There's also a webinar you'll run into, and it's about an hour long. So if you need a full webinar, my friend Greg, who works in Syracuse, is another sales rep who's just a News for You online geek. I say that lovingly, and he does that recording, but that's a full hour long. So just as for your information. Here's our entire vocabulary list for this week. Again, if you highlight any one of these words, it gives you what type of word it is and the definition to the word. And then to jump around to different articles, because now we're in this particular article having to do with Biden. So I'm scrolling down. There's a couple different ways you can get around the newspaper. One is from here, more in this issue. So you can click on it to go to that article right now. I'm going to go on it because I want you to be able to see that there's a wide variety of things that are involved in this. I know this is very scary. Murder hornets. It's so typical for 2020 that we have this. But anyway, not only do we have a lot of visuals, but we also have some audio, some videos that are built in here. So I'm just going to start this real quick. These are Washington State scientists remove murder hornets. And if you click on it, it's actually the live process. Okay, we'll stop that because it's just kind of scary. Okay, but there are a lot of videos that are built throughout, which is really making it helpful. The other thing that I wanted to take a look at is the other way to get around the program is just scroll up till you get to the orange area and you hit home. If you click on home, it brings you back to the main homepage with all of the articles in a row. And again, for those of you that have been using News for You a long time, whether it's paper or the online, just as an FYI, there's 7 articles every week. 3 of them are written at like a 4th to 5th grade reading level, and the other 4 come like at a 2nd to 3rd grade reading level. And all of the articles come from the Washington Post and the Associated Press. And from those articles, what we do, Jennifer Thompson, who's the editor for News for You, goes through, and her staff, and they go through and they rewrite the articles at a lower reading level and then develop the teacher guides. So just so you know how that all works. And then I'm going to go to archive and then tips to teachers, and then we're going to take some questions. How's that? So I'm a great big social studies geek. And I love looking up stuff and researching things. It's like my favorite thing to do. So here's the archive. What this is a search engine within News for You. So let's say you scroll down all 7 articles, you go, this isn't exactly what I wanted to do this week. I kind of wanted to do something different. So, and since it's pouring snow, let's look up tornadoes, okay? Now, in this case, I'm actually looking up, oops, how about if I spell it right? Tornado. I even did it before. Once I type in the word then all I have to do is click search. And what it does is brings up 23 different articles that had to do with tornadoes that were published in News for You online. So I asked Jennifer, I said, so how much information is actually out there? And she said, it's like 10 or 12 years worth of articles are actually in this archive, which is outstanding. So, heads up on this. There was a point in time, and I'm not sure exactly when it was. I'm going to guess it might have been around maybe 2013 or so, or 14, right around there, where we actually added the audio to News for You. And prior to that, we didn't have where it read out loud to you. So some of those articles, if you look at something that's very old, it may not have the audio built into it. And then also sometimes with older articles, where we have a video in it or a link for more information. Sometimes, you know, the originator of those pieces may have, you know, disconnected from the internet. So the link isn't the same anymore, so it doesn't exist. However, the articles themselves will be there. Okay, so that's kind of fun. And then if you do something, you know, even more generic, you know, we've got 201 results for the word election. So wide variety of different things that you can do for searching for all kinds of different articles. So, and then let's take a look at tips for teachers. All right, so you're just looking for some ideas. You're just looking for information. This is the place, okay? All the current and the last few teacher guides that were published are all right here. So if you want to access any of that information, you can access it by clicking on any one of these links right here. Maybe you're just thinking an idea. I just want some ideas on what to do. So, you know, I want to see things having to do with the college and career readiness standards. I want to do some things with grammar. You just click on grammar, and we opened up, here's you can do a treasure hunt with News for You and News for You Online. So find different kinds of grammar words based on, you know, one abbreviation, 3 nouns, a superlative adjective, anything you want to do. If you want to talk about news literacy, there's all kinds of articles here where you could work with that. So there's ideas, just basic ideas. Some of them as you read them, and I did this too, there was some of them that I looked at and I thought, you know what, these are a little bit more appropriate for the paper version of it. But some of them I thought they're written for the paper version, but I know how I could do it online. So, and I think you'll find that that's the same case here as well. So any kind of activity that you want, you can find there. And then let me just scroll down here. There's some resources that you can print out, like the census issue that we did. The voting guide isn't appropriate anymore because that part's already done. And then this takes you actually to pro-literacy, where they have, you know, COVID related accesses, you know, information that was published. And you'll see all of that. You've probably already been to that website already. So anything you want to be able to do, you can find all kinds of great ideas here. Okay, here's again that, you know, just under 7-minute video that sort of reviews it all. And then if you want to go through Greg's webinar, this is the 1-hour webinar that's right here. All you have to do is just click on it to open it up. And then maybe you just want to open up all the tips. You can just click on this and it's going to open up the entire list. Makes it a little crazy doing it that way. All right, you know what? I'm going back to home. And I guess at this point, I want to ask if anybody has any questions. I'm not kidding. I'm looking at the time and it was 30 minutes.
Perfect timing, Ann. So Anna, you can open a mic, you can raise your hand. If you have a question, Anna will open your mic up, or if you want to type it in the chat box and Ann will answer. This is fascinating. This is the coolest tool that I've seen in a very long time. So, Cassie, anything out there?
I am not seeing any questions come up in the chat, and you did such a wonderful job.
Oh, thank you. You know, listen, I've got a great like quick little story to tell. Those you know that I have a very large territory. I have 7 states, and one of the states that I have is Texas. And when I go down there, I actually stay with my aunt, Aunt Lynn, and I've been doing that now for, I don't know, probably, 8 years or so. And although I really horribly miss her right now because I haven't seen her in like 8 months. But Lynn got all worked up and excited about adult ed that she actually volunteered for one of the local adult ed programs that was a community-based organization called Center of Hope. And she started doing, one-on-one tutoring with some of the students. And as soon as she got her hands on News for You Online, she could not stop talking about it, because she found that she could use it one-on-one with all kinds of students at all kinds of levels. So the really low-level student can listen to the article and read along. It's not always super easy to follow all of the words, but when you read it nice and slowly, it's a doable thing. And then for the higher level students, it's giving you some information to actually do some good quality writing on some articles. So that would be a really great activity for someone who's like, maybe getting towards the direction of going to, prepare for the GED. There's all kinds of great ideas to say, okay, just this picture alone, not this one, but, whatever picture, you could go through and, and talk about where you could go from there to write some sort of paragraph or something like that. So all kinds of activities that you can do with this.
And I see Amy Dunlop has her hand raised.
Hey, Amy.
Oops, let me see if I can.
Myself here. Can you hear me now?
Oh, yep.
Okay, I was just starting to type, but I'll ask the question. We have a small group of students with all different capabilities for access. So I had, and our paper subscription was good through, I think, February of 21. So we were going to use the paper subscription to start launching the use of the online tool for those who have smartphones or a capability. I asked about a hybrid subscription where I could still get the papers, our 10 newspapers, but also access the online. As soon as I got the password for the online, it seems like our newspaper has stopped coming. And
that doesn't make sense.
No, and it is possible. We've also had a change in some of the we were a church-based program, and the rector has moved on to another church, and it's possible that there was some kind of mail forwarding or something that she did that may have made the paper disappear.
Right.
So
okay.
I'm not sure how that, but could we have both paper and online access?
Oh yeah. Well, they're separate subscriptions, but here's what I would tell you. If you have the paper version, I wish I had a sample with me. I had to dig in my closet, but if you get the paper version of this of News for You, in the upper right-hand corner is a password.
Yes, I realize that.
Yeah.
But it's the paper that disappeared. So
got it. Okay. So Amy, what we need to do is I need to find your subscription if it's part of something that Wisconsin Literacy paid for, or if you bought it on your own.
I don't think so.
I just need to locate the subscription and then I can fix it. So if you can email me any information you can, you know about the subscription, I'll go in with customer service and we'll find it and we'll fix it.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You bet.
I love this thing.
Anything else?
No, it looks like that was our only question at this point.
Nice.
My goodness, Ann, you are good.
Oh, listen, it's less than an hour. Isn't that great?
It is, and I'm sure nobody minds that they have a little extra time to get things done. So thank you. I can't thank you enough for being here. This really is just a whole lot of fun, and I hope that people who are getting the paper version might consider the online version, especially in the world that we live in now. Talk to your regional consultant, and they will see what they can do about hooking you up to a subscription like this. So, Ann, thanks a million. This has been absolutely wonderful.
Thank
Again,
you
I want to
for coming.
Oh, you bet.
And just want to say there are several thank yous coming up in the chat box also.
Good. Wonderful. And I want to remind all of you that you'll be getting an evaluation. So please click on it. It'll come right away. Click on it and fill it out and get it back to us. We appreciate it. And we thank you all for being with us today, and we'll talk to you in December. Bye now.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Ann.